All right, my first question says this. I have a 15-year-old granddaughter. She told me last night she's an atheist. I don't know if she's doing this to aggravate me or just because she doesn't want to attend church. So my question is, do I continue making her attend church with us and risk making her more resentful? I know you can't force Christianity into people, but I also am not willing to give her up to the world. And so it says that her dad strongly encourages her to go to church, but mom is kind of passive on the issue. Neither of them go to church. What do you say to this person, Pastor Steve?
Okay, so my understanding is this is a granddaughter. She's staying with the father and mother. Obviously, there's mom and dad involved there. And so, when I look at my own kids, if they're living in my house, they're going to do what we do. And it was never a question of whether or not my kids were going to go to church with us. And it never even came up, in the sense that they didn't want to go or anything. And if it had come up, I would have told them, this is what we do on Sundays, and you're going to do it with our family, and that would be the situation. And then I would talk to them specifically about why they don't want to go. And if my kid told me that they were an atheist, I'd start asking questions, and I'd find out what's going on at school, what's happening in the situation, and just get to the bottom of it. I wouldn't just leave that there simmering. And so I would go that excuse me. I would go that direction with it. If she's not in your home, that's a mom and dad type of thing, and I wouldn't be overstepping my son or my daughter's role in that situation. But as a grandma, I don't even know if you're a grandma. Well, as a grandparent, let's put it that way. As a grandparent, basically what I would be doing is talking to her about what's going on with her, why she's thinking that, and then just giving her reasonable answers to for the hope that lies within you. You know that passage in 1 Peter chapter 3. Peter talks about the fact that we need to be always ready to give a defense of the things that we believe. And it says this: sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, always be ready to give a defense to everyone who asks you a reason for the hope that's in you with meekness and fear, having a good conscience, that when they defame you as evildoers, those who revile your good conduct in Christ may be ashamed. And so, I would be reasoning with her. There's a passage in Isaiah chapter 2 where God says, come now, let us reason together, you and I. And so God's not just into mandates. He wants to reach people's hearts. So I would be praying about that. Be praying about how to reach my granddaughter's heart. Be praying about what kind of influences she has, and be trying to combat those things. Try to get into her head and be able to talk to her about the Lord and why she doesn't want to go to church and stuff. There may be stuff going on, besides the fact that maybe she's just being bratty. But that's how I would approach that.
So from mom and dad, and a lot of people come to this and go, well, I don't want to push her away from things. But the flip side is, when you're looking at what you make your kids do, like brushing their teeth,
right? Nobody
logically looks at that and goes, well, I don't want to make them brush their teeth.
Right.
It's kind of like, well, I don't really care if you want to do this or not. Like, this is going to destroy your life. Your gums are going to rot out of your head. Yeah. You're going to brush your teeth.
Right. And one of the things that we all need to realize is that you leave a vacuum, Satan's going to fill it.
Right.
And again, that's why with my kids, if they were living in my house, we go to church, and I don't care what you think about it. And I'm not willing to, let my kid go off into, and they're getting influence from the world in the first place. And I'm not willing to just let that go on. And so again, if it was my grandkid, it would be a different story, because I have to take into account the parents and where they're at on all this stuff.
Right.
And I'm not supposed to be parenting necessarily my granddaughter, but I would be investigating things and doing as much as I could to reach the kid. Grandparents have a lot of pull.
Yeah.
And so I'd use my pull. So.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully that answers your question. Appreciate you typing into the show.